Welcome to the Equinety Podcast, where horse owners just like you share their incredible Equinety stories and how Equinety is changing their horses' lives. Whether you're searching for something to give your performance horse better focus, faster recovery, and more stamina, or in the extreme case where all hope seems lost, give your horse what it needs to help heal at a cellular level, you'll find it here. So jump in on today's episode to hear how Equinety is helping horses worldwide. Now, welcome your host, John Dowdy.
Hello and welcome to this week's Equinety Podcast. We're going to swing over into St. Augustine, Florida. And we've got Holly Ann Such on the Equinety Podcast this week. Holly, welcome to the Equinety Podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you as well for another great story. I actually came across one of your comments on our Facebook advertising, and what caught my eye was you said, "This stuff works," with 3 exclamation points. And then the next line is what got me. You said you were contemplating putting my mare down because she was always in so much pain with her thin soles. So this was a last-ditch effort. So tell us about your mare, she's retired now, but what she was doing in her previous life, how long you've had her, and what you were dealing with.
So originally, my mare came over from the Netherlands as a jumper. And after she retired from that, we decided to put her in dressage. So my trainer and I worked her up the levels, and we kind of just always knew that her feet were fantastic. So we thought being in dressage was probably the best way for her to go. And even in the dressage work, the pressure was too much. She would always end up blowing an abscess, and then we would heal her from that one, get her back in shape, and then another one. It was just kind of a rotating door. We were never really able to keep her sound much longer than a few weeks at a time. So at that point, I decided the best thing for her was for me to go ahead and retire her about 4 years ago when she was 16.
Right. And so with, as you're describing one hoof issue, then the next one I picture when I would take my son to Chuck E. Cheese in that one little game where you had the big mallet and you're trying to whack each one of the little things that are the clowns that are popping up. It's like you get this one fixed and then you got one over here and then one over here. So it was just kind of a battle all the time. And you were having to use Butte, as I understand, to try to deal with the pain, but you also had a great farrier, so you were able to manage with what you had pretty much all the time?
Yes, pretty much. We tried to only give her Butte really every time we would put a new set of shoes on her or we would try something different with her. She would get really, really sore. And we tried everything from pads, glue-on shoes, every type of different shoe you could think of. My farrier and my vet even contacted other farriers around the United States to get ideas about what to do with her, and just nothing seemed to work. And she would just be in so much pain after each trimming that we would have to give her Butte just to make her comfortable. And then within the last probably 6-7 months, she was just in so much constant pain all the time that we started her on a daily dose of Butte, which at that point is when I decided she probably didn't have the best quality of life. Mm-hmm. And that's when I was contemplating on having to euthanize her. So that's kind of where we were as far as trying to keep her as comfortable as possible. Because other than her feet, she's a pretty healthy girl and everybody loves her. So right. We just wanted to do what we could for her.
Yes. Now, in addition to the battling that you were having with her hoof, she's also a Cushing's horse. So yeah, you were dealing with things along that, using Percend and dealing with lots of clippings from long coats.
Yeah. So normally within the winter months, we probably have to clip her every 3 to 4 weeks just because her coat gets so thick so quickly. And we did recently clip her about 2 months ago. And 7 weeks ago was when we started her on your product and realized that her coat wasn't growing as fast. And we're 7 weeks out and she doesn't need to be body clipped again. And so the only thing we could think of is that that was contributed to starting her on this product, and it's helping with something with her Cushing's disease.
Right. So tell us how you came across the Equinety product, because up to the point before you started using it, like a lot of people, you've done everything that you know to do. You've got your medical team and farrier and, doing everything you can to manage the situation. But you're also getting at your wit's end as well, because with what you're dealing with, it is inevitable. And you were kind of already prepared. So tell us how you came across the Equinety Horse Excel and what happened next.
Actually, I was flipping through Facebook and I saw your product pop up a few times, and I honestly just always flipped right past it just because I don't jump on the bandwagon with new products all the time. But every once in a while, I would click on it and I would read the reviews, and it was always, a 5-star review and everyone just kind of telling their story. And I had said to my husband, I was like, I have tried everything for this mare. I was like, this is going to be my last product. This is my last ditch effort. I'm going to try it and see how it goes. I kind of just felt like I didn't have anything to lose. So I ordered it, and I'll be completely honest, I really didn't think it was going to do anything, because it's not too often that you find a good product on Facebook. So yeah. Normally you get scammed. And so I didn't really have high expectations, but I just felt like I needed to do one more thing, and this was it. So I ordered it, and we started her on it. And within a few days, my groom and some of the other ladies that are at the farm realized, they noticed a difference in her. So
yeah. So what kind of things did you notice? I mean, we're talking a few days here, which through all the conversations that we have with hundreds and hundreds of people, and the story is not too far off from a lot of other people. But when you've been around the horse industry and you've tried lots of things, and then there's loading doses, and then 60 days, and it's all that kind of stuff. So you're saying within a couple of days you started noticing results. And what kinds of things did you notice? What
we all noticed kind of right away was that she seemed to have a little bit more energy, more than usual. And we would turn her out, and a lot of times when we would turn her out, she would kind of just stay by the gate. She wasn't really willing to walk very far to go and graze. And we noticed that she was going further out into the pasture. She was grazing longer, that she wasn't laying down as much to get the pressure off of her feet. Like I said before, with her Cushings, we noticed that her coat seemed to almost stop growing as quickly as it was before. Just all around, she kind of just seemed happier every single day. And every day it just got better and better and better. So we just kind of kept an eye on her. We really couldn't believe what we were seeing, that she went from acting like she was walking on hot coals to within a couple of weeks, she was trotting around the pasture. And last week, I actually witnessed her galloping from the far end of the pasture to the gate, which we haven't seen in probably a year.
Oh, my gosh.
So, yes. So all of us stopped and we're like, oh, my goodness, Promise is actually galloping across the field. And none of us could really believe it, but she was.
Wow. And one of the other things that you had mentioned as well, that she used to sway in her stall. Tell us about that.
So she would always sway back and forth in her stall, especially when we would give her hay in there, to take the pressure off the front of her feet, almost like she was standing on hot coals, and she would kind of pick one foot up and then the other one, and back and forth and back and forth. And we even tried putting her hay in a hay bag so she wouldn't have to bend down as far and put pressure on her front feet as much. That did not help at all. Within a few days to a week, we noticed that had decreased a lot, to the point where we are now that she does not do that at all. Not at all.
Mm.
So
that's great.
Yeah. And, we even put special flooring in her stall. We bed it extra. we did everything, and that did not stop her from swaying until we started her on this.
Yes. Now, earlier you had mentioned that you had to increase how much bute you were giving. What is the situation with that now?
As of right now, we decided to go ahead and take her off the bute completely once we started to notice some improvements with her. And we pretty much just did that because we know that bute isn't great for their tummies, and we don't want to deal with ulcers on top of everything else. So we made a joint decision to go ahead and take her off of it completely and then just kind of see how she does. And she's fine. She doesn't need it. She doesn't act like she's in any pain. She's really just quite happy the way she is. So she just got her feet trimmed yesterday, and we did not have to bute her at all. She walked out just as good as when she walked in there. So we're really excited about that.
Yes. Well, holy cow. Well, you might probably thinking, hey, maybe we bring her out of retirement.
We had that discussion last week, actually.
That's crazy. Now,
yeah.
Oh, well. Well, I tell you, for those that are tuning in for the first time, maybe this is the you've been watching our ads go across your news feed, and you're thinking, well, that sounds too good to be true, or I've tried everything else, or, hey, maybe you are interested, but you're thinking, well, what exactly is this stuff? So let's get into that, and I'll explain what this stuff is, how it works, and I'll give you a Cliff Notes version of it, because we have plenty of places on our website at teamequinety.com that go into a lot more detail. But essentially what this Equinety Horse Excel is, it's 100% pure amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein. Now, the interesting thing with these, there's no fillers, no sugars, no starches, and there's no loading dose. So a serving size is 5.2 grams, which is not quite a tablespoon. And it doesn't matter the size of the horse, because the pituitary is roughly the same size, about the size of a pea. So when you give this product, it stimulates the pituitary within 24 hours. And this is why you were able to see results within days, because this product starts working right away. And the pituitary releases the necessary hormones which help heal the body at a cellular level. So going back to all the things that you are noticing, it makes sense, when you can give the body what it needs to help heal itself from a cellular level, then why all of a sudden she's feeling more spry. Now, I think it's important, you said that you noticed that she was more spry, had more energy. Now, it doesn't make the horse hot in any way, shape, or form. They just feel better. So when you get into the healthier coat and, stop swaying because of the pain and things that maybe she was feeling in her feet, these are all the benefits. Now, when you get into the Cushing's disease, which Cushing's, as you know, is a tumor that's on the pituitary. So now the pituitary is not functioning properly. So what we've learned with being on the market almost 5 years, and we have a lot of people with Cushing's horses that use our product, great results. We're helping that pituitary to function properly or more properly than what it has been. So you've noticed the coat isn't growing as fast. But I would say one of the things that we've noticed or in a lot of the feedback with all horses is softer, shinier coat, more muscle and filling out. They feel better. Now, I really want to follow up with you in 5 or 6 months, because the sole, how thick are the soles on your horse now?
I had her x-rayed about 2 months ago, and they were roughly at 2 millimeters.
Yeah, 2 millimeters. So thickening of the soles is one of the many things that we hear with using the Equinety product. And so it would be interesting to see, and maybe we could get the before and after of the x-rays to show that. But and I think it's also important too, you remember, this is not a miracle supplement. It sure does some miraculous things sometimes. I mean, you were contemplating on putting this horse down. But yeah, typically when we're talking about supplements, they typically don't work this fast. When you're dealing with drugs and medications and things, well, that usually works right away because that's what they're, I guess, designed to do. This product, it's amino acids, and it actually starts the pituitary to release those healing hormones within 24 hours. So it's a pretty amazing product. Now, for anybody that's tuning in for the first time, and maybe they're still a little bit hesitant or thinking, well, this sounds too good to be true. Is there anything, Holly, that you might say or advice that you could give to them to, maybe give them the push over the fence here to give the Equinety product a try?
I would say the only thing that I really want to stress about the Equinety product is that I was really at my wit's end. I am a huge believer in not letting your animal suffer. I think it's very selfish. And I really had that conversation with my husband that I thought it was time to go ahead and put her down. And this product, even though I don't think it's a miracle product and I don't think it's going to work for everyone the same way, but it did work for me. Mm-hmm. And for the price of the product, it is worth a month's try. No matter what, you will find some type of results within a few weeks for sure. And I have tried every product out there. Nothing seemed to help like this one. So for $100, it is worth the life of your animal if you're in the same situation as I was, or it could help with having to retire a horse too early. Something I mentioned earlier, that if I would have found this product 5 years ago, I am 100% confident that I would still be showing her today. So I guess pretty much for the price of it, try it. I really just feel like it's not going to break the bank, but there are just huge benefits in this for every horse.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that's $100 for 100 servings. So just to be clear there, because, although people do, I would say the vast majority, upper 90 percentile, I would say, probably do see results in 30 days or less. But our large tub is $100 for 100 servings. So very affordable in my opinion, and I think in yours as well. And, just without having to give the butte, the benefits of not having to give that, and you're saving money in that aspect. So, and the horse is, more importantly, healthier and happier all around, which makes for a good, happy owner too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so happy with this product that I am starting my new show horse on this, who is an upper level FEI dressage horse who gets taxed daily in his workouts. And that's how much I believe in this product, is that I saw such an amazing result with her that I feel it'll do the same with him for muscle recovery and just overall feeling better. So I have taken him off most of his supplements, and I'm going to try him on this also.
That's great. Well, we look forward to the updates. So Holly Ann Such out of St. Augustine, Florida, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story here on the Equinety Podcast.
Thank you so much for allowing me to share my story with you.
Oh, you bet. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's all for this episode of the Equinety Podcast. For more information on purchasing Equinety, be sure to visit our website at teamequinety.com, where you'll also find product information as well as more testimonials on how others have seen amazing results by implementing Equinety into their horse's supplement regime. We'll have more stories on how Equinety is helping horses worldwide right here on a future episode of the Equinety Podcast.